Srimati Radharani is known as Madan Mohan Mohini. That she controls one who controls. So we are all controlled by Kamadev. Krishna controls Kamadev, and Srimati Radharani, she controls Krishna. So that's the exalted position of Srimati Radharani. Speak a little bit, so I think we have half an hour left, right? We have to, okay, so speak a little bit about the Vrindavan pastimes of Srimati Radharani. So it's mentioned in the it's mentioned in the Mahabharata and also in the Garg Samhita that how at one point all the devas went to Krishna along with Brahma and Lord Shiv to get help because Bhumi Devi was completely overrun by religion. And at that time Krishna, he said that at the Sandhi of Dwapar and Kali Yuga, I will appear. And I will appear along with my eternal consort Srimati Radharani, and I will appear with my holy dham, which is Vrindavan. So that set into motion the pastime of Krishna and Radha's appearance. So Krishna descends once in a while. In the Bhagavad Gita he says, right, in chapter 4, verse 7, he says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhakti. Whenever there is decline in religion, I come. And then he gives a reason for his Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatuskritam. So he comes primarily to associate with his devotees. Everything else he can do. But primarily he comes to associate with his devotees. And when he is associating with his devotees, he comes with the medium through which the devotees are able to access him, which is Srimati Radharani. So Krishna comes with Srimati Radharani. When he came as Lord Ram, he came along with Sita Devi. He always comes with his eternal consort. So just like Lord Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna, Lakshmi Devi is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. So when Krishna went to Dwarka, then the wives of Krishna in Dwarka are all expansions of Srimati Radharani. So they are all goddesses of fortune, they are all Lakshmi Devis. And they are all expansions of Srimati Radharani. So the pastime of the appearance of Srimati Radharani, it appears in a discussion between Narad Muni that there was once a competition between Himalaya and Vindhya, two great mountain ranges in India. So the personification, the deity personifying, presiding over them. So Himavat is the deity presiding over Himalaya, and his daughter, after a lot of austerities, received Lord Shiva as her husband. So the daughter of Himavat is Parvati Devi. Parvati is one, Parvat is mountain, Parvati is one who is the daughter of the mountain. So Parvati Devi became the wife of Lord Shiv. Lord Shiv is Mahadev. He is the greatest of the Devas. So Himavat, his stature became very high. And Vindhya became a little envious of him. So this is Satyug time. Current day, if you are envious, you go and try to kill the person or do something. At that time, what he did was he went to the forest to perform austerities. So he performed austerities for hundreds and thousands of years, and then Lord Brahma came and he said you can ask for a boon. So he says that I want a daughter, and my son-in-law should have a position that is superior to that of Lord Shiva's position. And Brahma said okay, and then Brahma he began to think about the benediction he gave. So Brahma sometimes gets into trouble. He gives benedictions that he finds it difficult to fulfill, like benedictions he gave to Nakashipu. So he started thinking that I've given this very difficult benediction to Vidya, but I had to give him because he performed such severe austerities. But who is greater than Lord Shiva in this material world? There is nobody greater. Lord Shiva is the greatest. So he said the only one who is greater than Lord Shiva is Lord Krishna. And Krishna's eternal consort is Srimati Radharani. So the only way that my benediction can come true if Srimati Radharani appears as the daughter of Vindhya. So Lord Brahma, in order to make that happen, he himself started performing austerities to please Srimati Radharani. And after a long period of austerities, Srimati Radharani came and said, Tathastu, so be it. So under the influence of that benediction, Vindhya's wife, she became pregnant with twins actually, and over the period of time, she had 2 daughters. So by this time, Krishna's Leela had already begun. Not that Krishna had appeared, but the setting of Krishna's Leela had begun. So that Vasudeva and Devaki had been imprisoned by Kamsa, and the 8th son of Vasudeva and Devaki had appeared and had been taken away, taken to Gokul, and instead of that, Yogamaya had appeared, and she said that, you fool Kamsa, Krishna's 8th son has already appeared and will kill you. And one thing that she also said is that has also appeared a great personality by whose marriage one will become at the same position as the immortal personality of Godhead. So Kamsa, when he sent out his people, he actually gave them 2 instructions. One is to kill all boys who were born, and the second was to kidnap all girls who were born. Because his intention was that if he can marry that girl, then he would have that immortality. So he was trying to do these 2 things. He was trying to protect himself from premature death at the hands of the boy, and he was trying to protect himself from eventual death by marrying the girl. So it is said that Putana actually visited the palace of Vindhya. And at that time, Vindhya was happy with the appearance of the 2 girls that his wife had. So one was Radharani and the second was Chandravali. So they were there. So they are twin sisters. So Putana swept in and she had mystic powers. So she swept in, she took both the girls and she ran away. And she could travel through the sky. So she took both of them and she was traveling through the sky. And Vindhya turned to the Brahmas. So the Brahmas at that time were very powerful because of the potency of their purity and mantras. And so he asked the Brahmins to stop this woman. So the Brahmins, they chanted the mantras and they started putting the oblations in the fire. And because of the force of the mantras, Putana became weaker and weaker. So then, as Providence would have it, that by the time she reached over the area of Raj, she became so weak that both the girls, they fell from her hand. So, so then at that time, it so happened that they fell into the area where Kirtida and Vrishbhanu lived. So Kirtida and Vrishbhanu, they were contemporaries of Nand Maharaj and Yashodamai. They were good friends, but they lived in a different area. And when they saw this beautiful girl, they accepted her as their daughter. Of course, this is the past time. Kirtida and Vrishbhanu are eternal parents of Srimati Radharani. So when Srimati Radharani appeared, she appeared with her eyes closed. And her eyes were closed She did not speak anything, and she appeared to be completely dumb. She could not hear anything. And the parents were very distressed because she was more beautiful than 10,000 moons. But she would be completely inert. So then it so happened that at one time, when the news, so Radharani appears 2 weeks after the appearance of Krishna. So 2 weeks ago we celebrated Krishna Janmashtami on the 3rd of September, and now tomorrow we'll celebrate Radharashtami. So the news of Krishna's appearance had also spread all over Braj. And because they were good friends, so Kirtida and Vrishvanu, they took Srimati Radharani along with them, and they went to see Krishna. So it is said that only when Krishna appeared in front of Srimati Radharani that she opened her eyes, because the first person that she wanted to see was Krishna. So only when Krishna spoke that she recovered her hearing ability, and she responded to Krishna's speech. So in a way, that is the purpose that these senses have been given to us. The real purpose of our speech is that we can do Kirtan or Krishna Katha. The real purpose of our eyes is that we can look at the deities, or we can look at other devotees and appreciate them. And the real purpose of our ears is that we can hear about the pastimes of Krishna, or we can hear about the glories of Krishna. So Srimati Radharani embodies that she had no other use for the senses other than use them in the service to for which they are supposed to be, to whom they belong. So when Srimati Radharani was a young girl, once a famous sage visited, and the name of the sage was Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni was very much feared because he has a very short temper. He is a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva. And whenever they found that Durvasa Muni is coming, everybody would leave the village and run away, because they didn't want to be cursed by Durvasa Muni. So it so happened that Durvasa Muni was there, and it was Dwadasi. So he had followed Ekadashi, and it was the day after Ekadashi. So for those who follow Ekadashi, just like it is important to fast on Ekadashi, it's also important to break your fast at a certain time. So Durvasa Muni was there, the time was passing by, and he did not have anything to eat. So he was supposed to break Ekadashi with grains. So he saw the young girls playing. Durvasa Muni is Durvasa Muni. He didn't realize they were small or old. He said, "You get me some food." So all the girls ran away, and Radharani was left. So, but Radharani, she prepared food for Durvasa Muni, and when he ate it, he felt all the ecstatic symptoms of Shuddha Bhakti appear. And the food was so tasty. So Durvasa Muni is famous for giving curses, but he is also famous for giving benedictions. So he gave Radharani this benediction that everything that you will cook will taste as if it is new. And whoever eats your cooking will have a long life, will be free from disease, and will be free from miseries. So when we cook in our house, we cook with this consciousness that we are assisting Srimati Radharani in her cooking. And most of the time, our food comes almost as good as Srimati Radharani's cooking. So and then when we offer, So once we had asked, somebody had asked this question to Prabhupada, that Radharani is such a good cook, why would Krishna eat our cooking? And then Prabhupada said that whatever you cook, whatever is good Radharani carries, whatever is lacking she makes up for it. So by the time it comes to Krishna, it is perfect. There. Of course that doesn't mean we just put half cooked and expect Radharani to take care of it. But our consciousness is that we are assisting Srimati Radharani in cooking. So when Yashodamai heard about this benediction, Yashodamai she had only one focus, which is Krishna. She said, oh, your daughter has this benediction that anything she cooks, anybody who eats her cooking will have long life and good health. She should cook for my son. So Radharani's service is that every day she would cook for Krishna. And every day Radharani cooks a dish which she will never ever repeat again. So every day she cooks something new, and everything that she cooks tastes like nectar. So we can understand that there is so many of us all over this universe who are offering Krishna dishes. Somebody is offering pasta, somebody is offering noodles, somebody is offering puri aloo, bangan sabji. So Radharani has so much variety.
So much Russian food, Irish food.
Russian, Irish. That's just in our world, right? You can imagine when you take it to the universe and the billions of universes. So there is so much variety that Radharani has to pick up on. So actually what they say is that when we offer to our Guru Maharaj. He makes up for the trutis. He offers to his Guru Maharaj, who further make up for any trutis. So it goes up the parampara. And then it gets offered to Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani takes care of anything that is left and she offers to Krishna. So that's why everything you offer, Krishna is going to accept. Which is why what we get is prasad. Our bhog may not be the best, but our prasad has touched the lotus lips of Krishna because they have passed the lotus hands of Srimati Radharani. So that is why prasad is such an important place in our spiritual lives there. So Radharani has many pastimes that are very sweet, very humorous also, and we don't have the time to discuss the pastime. But if anybody has a favorite pastime that they would like to share or they would like me to talk about, Seema.
You shared a pastime once that when Krishna had gone back and once his head was paining or something, and then a servant had ran back to Radharani. I don't remember the entire. Can you please remember?
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one. So, say that again. The Radharani's head was paining or
No,
Krishna's head?
Krishna's
Krishna's
head
head
was
was paining. Okay, yeah, that
And
one I
nobody could cure him or
that one I
something like
remember.
that.
Yeah. So Radharani's position in Vrindavan, and this is Leela of course, but Radharani's position in Vrindavan is a little precarious because she is very attached to Krishna. Krishna is very attached to Radharani, but Radharani is married to Abhimanyu. So, and Krishna is, at least while he was in Vrindavan, he wasn't married. Later on, he was married to the queens in Dwarka. So, Abhimanyu is considered to be the personification of Krishna's shadow. And Abhimanyu is often called the so-called husband of Radharani because he never actually is with Radharani. He's kind of there, but he's never with Radharani. So Krishna is always trying to establish the position of Srimati Radharani and that of the gopis. So this particular pastime happens in Dwarka. That once Krishna, he hears a conversation between his wives, kind of discussing the position of the gopis, Radharani. They had some doubts, whatever it is. So Krishna thought that let me clarify the position. So Krishna went into this Leela, that he pretended to have a really bad headache. And all his wives were completely distressed. They could not bear to see Krishna in pain. And somebody is fanning Krishna, somebody is giving him tambul, somebody is giving him beetle, somebody is grinding the various herbs, trying to give him some medicine. Nothing is working. And Krishna's headache is going from bad to worse. So at that time, Narad Muni comes. And all the wives, they rush to Narad Muni and say, "You're Deva Rishi, you know everything. Krishna has a bad headache. Nothing that we seem to be doing is helping him. Tell us what can be done." Narad Muni said, very simple, very, very simple solution, that if you wash your feet and give the water for Krishna to drink and sprinkle over his head, his headache will go away. The wife said, "How can you do that? Krishna is her husband, and we will go to several kinds of hell." So this is that time. Now it's a little different. So now the husbands will get worried. Okay. I'm just kidding. And so the wives, they said, "No, we cannot do that. The Shastras forbid us." And of course the wives are aware of Krishna's position also, and they're like, "How can you commit this offense?" So Narad Muni says, "What do we do?" They said, "You go and ask other devotees of Krishna." So Narad Muni traveled far and wide asking different devotees that Krishna is in pain, he has a bad headache, and they would all say, "What can we do?" So you wash your feet and give us the water, and Krishna will drink it and sprinkle it on his head, and he will get okay. And they would say, "Na Baba, not us. He's a worshipful Lord, that we put his lotus feet on our head. The remnants of his food is prasadam for us. How can we give him the dust of our feet?" So finally Narad Muni comes to Braj, and then he approaches the gopis, and he tells the gopis that your Krishna in Dwarka, he has a bad headache, and only this can cure. And the gopis said, "Get some water." So they got the water, they washed their feet, and they gave the water to Narad Muni, and they said, "Take it back to Dwarka and give it to Krishna to drink." So Narad Muni is astounded, and he says that, "Do you realize what are you doing? That you're giving the dust of your feet to the personality of Godhead? That you can suffer for innumerable lives in hellish conditions because of this offense?" And the gopi said, "Of course, we are aware of it. But it's okay for us to suffer multiple lifetimes in hell rather than us stand by and see Krishna suffer for even one moment." So that was the mood. So when Narad Muni came back with the water, he told that to the wives of Krishna. And then they could understand the purity and the greatness of the gopis. That they have no regard for their personal pleasure. Sometimes when we do bhakti, the bhakti is more in terms of, so Krishna bhakti is more in our mind, that how much can Krishna be our bhakta? What can Krishna do for us? Right? So we do bhakti and we say that Krishna, make sure the traffic is good tomorrow, make sure my job situation is okay,
Make sure there's no hurricane.
make sure the hurricane goes to the neighboring city, not
The
ours.
refer with the rain during the Janmashtami, don't rain.
Don't rain. That's a little different. Because even I was saying. So, but many times Krishna Bhakti is Krishna Bhakti. Like Krishna is, we are looking at Krishna as a bhakta. Of course, Krishna's wives are not in that category. They were completely devoted to Krishna, but not to that level. The gopis, they did not hesitate for a moment. And they said every moment that Krishna is in pain, that is like millions of lives in hell for us. So what are you talking about hellish condition? We are already in hellish condition, knowing that Krishna is suffering. So Srimati Radharani and the gopis, they exemplify this this mood of unconditional devotion. That the last verse of the Shishnashtakam composed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ashli Syava Padatan Penashtuma Madashnam Mamatum Karotuva Yata Tatha Va Vidanta Lampatu Matpranatas Tusaiva Napra. So they say, Krishna, you are our worshipable Lord life after life. Whether you appear with us or whether you make us broken hearted by not being before us. Whether you put us in happiness or in misery, it does not matter. You are our Lord. So that is the mood of Srimati Radharani. That is the mood that she would like us to imbibe. That the love that we have, the devotion that we have for Krishna is not predicated on anything. It should not be that if you do this for me, I will offer you 1 rupee. Sometimes people say, if I get a promotion, I will give 500 rupees prasad. And Prabhupada would say they are asking for a promotion that gives them 5,000 rupees. Even there they are giving only 10% to Krishna. And if Krishna wanted your laddu, then he is not God because he is short of a laddu. God cannot be short of any. The only thing Krishna is short of is your love. Nothing else. He has all the laddus in the world. He has all the opulences in the world. So is that okay, Seema? Thank you for bringing it up.
Boatman pastime?
We'll have the boatman pastime? Okay. So we'll have the boatman pastime, and after that we'll have one more kirtan, one more bhajan of Radharani, and then we'll stop after that. So, so the boatman pastime is, so actually there are more than one boatman pastimes. So this particular one that is particularly sweet. So this happens when the gopis are so they're milkmaids. They're their husbands or their fathers or their sons. They take care of the cows, and the gopis, they prepare milk products, and then they take it across the river Yamuna and they sell it there. They sell it in Mathura or they sell it at different areas. So then it so happened that once the gopis, they had all these milk products, this yogurt and ghee and milk and cheese, and they were all carrying it, and there was a boat over there where there was a boatman sitting there sleeping. So the gopis went there and said that we have to go across the river because the time for the market is there, and if we don't sell, our goods will go bad and the market will close. So initially the boatman was very reluctant, and he said, it's time for my nap, I can't really take you. The gopis, the gopis are very, very simple. It said that, so boatman is Krishna. So just to give you a sneak preview. So the gopis are very, it said that, the acharyas said that Krishna is Tribhanga. So Tribhanga means that he is twisted in 3 places. Krishna is very crooked. And the gopis, Radharani is very serious, she's very simple. So Krishna is always taking advantage of the simplicity of the gopis and Srimati Radharani. So he's there making all kinds of excuses, getting the gopis to beg and plead. And then finally he said, okay, I will do it. So he takes the gopis on the boat, they put the milk and ghee and everything there. So then he reaches in the middle of the river, and then he stops rowing the boat. And the boat starts shaking. The Yamuna is, as for those of you who have gone there know, the Yamuna is a turbulent river. So the gopis, they become alarmed, saying that what happened to you boatman? Why aren't you rowing anymore? And the river is not very stable. We might turn over at any time. So the boatman said that I wasn't prepared to come anyway. You forced me to come. And I'm so weak now that I can barely row the boat. And the thing between the pastimes is that there is a lot of teasing, but there is a lot of appreciation also. So the acharyas reveal a lot of glorification. So then the boatman goes on and he describes the gopis, and so he's calling them apparently not very complimentary things. He's saying you're all overweight, because of you, my boat is sinking, you look like you eat a lot, but he's glorifying their beauty. So the gopis say that it is what it is, but we have to help us. So he said, there is one way that I can help you. I'm feeling very hungry. If you can give me some of the stuff that you have. The gopi said, okay, one person they give a little bit. So little by little Krishna finishes off everything. So all the milk, all the ghee, everything that they have, Krishna finishes it off. So the gopi said, okay, now you have eaten off everything, at least now take us there. So Krishna said, I would love to take you, but there is one problem. So he said, what's the problem? He said, after eating so much, I'm actually feeling very sleepy now. So I would like to take a nap, and then maybe one of you can massage my feet, one of you can massage my hand. I'm tired after rowing the boat for such a long time. So the gopis now by the time they're reaching the end of the patience, so then they have a small ishtagoshti, like a small sidebar, and they say that this person looks like he's not a very reliable person. So in fact we think that he's a bit of a rascal. So best thing for us to do is to throw him out over the boat into the water. So Krishna is there pretending to sleep. So the gopis, so they all go there and they catch hold of Krishna to throw him overboard the boat. So while they are catching hold of Krishna to throw him over, then by the touch of Krishna, they understand that this is Krishna. And then one of the gopis, she pulls out the fruit that Krishna had hidden by his waist. So then they realize this is Krishna, and then of course then they have the boat pastimes, and Krishna gets them all back. So all of Krishna's leelas they have a happy ending. They're like Hindi movies. They all have happy endings. And Krishna and Radharani, the patch out, everybody patches out, everybody is. Krishna is the original hero. Like the Indian film hero, they can do everything. They are good in studies, they're good in fighting, good in romance. So they're all modeled after Krishna. Krishna is the original, he's the original Superman.
Madhumangal is the comedian next to him.
Madhumangal is the comedian next to him. And there is Jatila and Kutila who are the mother-in-law and sister-in-law. So we'll have one more bhajan, and so we can do. No, we'll do. I think say 30. We'll just do the last one. Radhe Radhe Jai Jai.